ever heard of someone so rich they literally broke the economy just by visiting a city? No, this isn't a plot from a fantasy novel. This is the real-life story of the richest person who ever lived, Mansa Musa, the Golden King of the Mali Empire. Forget today's billionaires. Their fortunes are just pocket change compared to his. His wealth was so immense, it's been described as incomprehensible. Stick around as we journey back to the 14th century to uncover the astonishing tale of the man who turned cities into gold. To understand Mansa Musa, you first have to understand the empire he ruled. The Mali Empire, located in West Africa, was one of the largest and most prosperous empires of its time. It controlled vast territories rich into incredibly valuable resources, salt and, more importantly, gold. At a time when gold was in high demand across Europe and the Middle East, Mali was sitting on what was essentially the world's largest supply. It's estimated that the Mali Empire accounted for almost half of the old world's gold. Mansa Musa ascended to the throne around 1312. Mansa means king of kings or emperor in the Mandinka language. But he wasn't born into direct succession. The story goes that his predecessor, Mansa Abu Bakr II, was an adventurer fascinated by the Atlantic Ocean. He equipped a massive fleet of 2,000 ships and set off to explore the limits of the ocean, leaving Musa to rule in his absence. Abu Bakr II never returned, and so Musa officially became the Mansa. He inherited an already wealthy kingdom, but what he did with that wealth is what etched his name into the annals of history forever. For the first decade of his reign, Musa focused on expanding his empire. A skilled administrator and military leader, he annexed key trading cities like Timbuktu and Gao, consolidating his control over the trans-Saharan trade routes. This meant every ounce of gold, every slab of salt, and every other valuable commodity passing through the region now contributed to his treasury. His empire stretched for about 2,000 miles, from the Atlantic coast all the way to modern-day Niger, encompassing parts of what are now Senegal, Guinea, Mali, and several other nations. He ruled over 400 cities, towns, and villages, creating a stable and prosperous realm. But the story that truly defines Mansa Musa's legacy began in 1324. As a devout Muslim, he decided to undertake the hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. This was no ordinary journey. This was a procession of such staggering opulence that it is still talked about almost 700 years later. Imagine this, a caravan stretching as far as the eye could see. It included 60,000 men, all dressed in fine Persian silk. Among them were 12,000 attendants, each carrying a solid gold bar weighing about 4 pounds. And leading the way were 500 heralds, also draped in silk and carrying gold staffs. But the centerpiece of this incredible procession, Mansa Musa himself, riding on horseback, with 80 to 100 camels following behind, each one loaded with up to 300 pounds of pure gold dust. The journey covered nearly 4,000 miles, and wherever Mansa Musa went, he left a trail of gold. He was famously generous, handing out gold to the poor he met along his route. He would stop in a city on a Friday and pay for the construction of a new mosque. His generosity was legendary, but it had an unintended and dramatic consequence when he reached Cairo, Egypt. During his 3-month stay, he gave away so much gold to the Sultan, to his court, and to the common people that he single-handedly destabilized the entire region's economy. The sheer influx of gold caused its value to plummet, leading to massive inflation that took the city of Cairo over a decade to recover from. He literally gave away so much money that he broke their economy. It's a testament to a level of wealth that is almost impossible to grasp. Interestingly, on his journey back from Mecca, Musa saw the economic damage his generosity had caused in Cairo. In an unprecedented move, he tried to fix the problem he created. He borrowed back all the gold he could from the moneylenders in Cairo, at an exorbitant interest rate. This act made him the only man in history to single-handedly control the price of gold in the Mediterranean. He could crash the market and then help it recover. That's real power. But Mansa Musa's pilgrimage wasn't just a display of wealth, it was a brilliant act of international relations. The world now knew about Mali. European cartographers, who previously had very little knowledge of West Africa, began to draw the Mali Empire on their maps. The famous 1375 Catalan Atlas depicts an African king in the heart of West Africa, holding a golden scepter and a massive gold nugget, with the caption, "This black lord is called Musa I. So abundant is the gold which is found in his country that he is the richest and most noble king in all the land." Mansa Musa had put his empire, quite literally, on the map. When he returned home, Mansa Musa brought with him scholars, architects, and artists from across the Islamic world. He was determined to transform his kingdom into a center of learning, culture, and architecture. This is where the second chapter of his great legacy begins. He focused his efforts on the cities of Timbuktu and Gao. Under his patronage, Timbuktu, once a simple trading post, was transformed into a legendary city of scholarship and commerce. He commissioned the great architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, whom he met in Mecca, to build several magnificent structures. The most famous of these is the Jingerbir Mosque in Timbuktu, a masterpiece of Sudano-Sahelian architecture made from earth fiber and wood, which still stands today. He also established the University of Sankore, which became one of the most important centers of learning in the world. It housed a massive library with an estimated 250,000 to 700,000 manuscripts, making it the largest library in Africa since the Library of Alexandria. Scholars from all over the world flocked to Timbuktu to study mathematics, astronomy, law, and philosophy. Mansa Musa didn't just have gold, he invested that gold into the intellectual and cultural capital of his people. His reign is often remembered as the Golden Age of the Mali Empire. He created a centralized government, established a complex legal system based on Islamic law, and ensured peace and security throughout his vast domain. It was said that a person could travel from one end of his empire to the other without fear. He built a legacy not just of wealth, but of peace, prosperity, and intellectual advancement. Mansa Musa ruled for about 25 years, dying around 1337. He passed on a stable and vastly expanded empire to his successors. However, the empire couldn't sustain his level of greatness within a few generations. Internal conflicts and external pressures led to its gradual decline. Timbuktu was eventually raided, and the empire slowly fractured. So, why is his story so important today? Mansa Musa shatters the simplistic, often negative, narratives about pre-colonial Africa. His story is a powerful reminder of the continent's rich and complex history, filled with powerful empires, incredible wealth, and profound intellectual traditions. He was a king whose wealth and influence rivaled any ruler on earth, whose pilgrimage changed economies, and whose vision transformed a city into a global center of learning. The tale of Mansa Musa isn't just about gold, it's about the incredible heights of human achievement and the enduring power of a great legacy. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history. Let me know in the comments what other historical figures you'd like to learn about. Until next time, stay curious.